सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। दयाकरं दयाकारं दान्तं धर्मप्रवर्तकं प्रणमामि दयानन्दं मदाचार्यवरं परम्। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्। अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि य उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। The animating principle, consciousness, Satchidananda, which is behind the eyes and causes them to fall on various objects and illumine the name and form, which causes the ears to function in their own areas, which causes the speech to form and be projected. This animating principle is Satchidananda, consciousness. It is the existence behind the existence of the ears. The ears are existent, yes. They have the capacity to hear, yes. But the ears shine in borrowed existence from consciousness. So the consciousness is that which gives satta, existence, to the ear, and then to the ear means upalakshana. You have to take eyes and everything you have to take. That which gives satta, existence, to the eyes, to the ears, to everything. And it also gives what? Spurti. Spurti is the illumining principle. It illumines the ear to function in its territory, in its arena. And what is the arena of the ear? The arena of the ear is to amplify, objectify sounds. So in this way, this existence of the ears owe their very being to consciousness, and the ability to hear, which is what? Knowledge. Knowledge of how the ear works. This is jnanam. This is chit. That is also what? Belongs to what? Consciousness. Then the ears hear, and when do they hear? Right now they hear. Now they hear. And again now they hear, now they hear, now they hear. And that means what? We already saw the timelessness of the concept of now. And also the ears in India, ears situated in India belonging to a person hears. The ear situated somewhere in Africa belonging to another person, that also, they also hear. The ears of the cow, they also hear. The ears of the dog. As soon as you say walk, They not only hear, they understand also. So, like this, there is an all-pervasiveness, spatially limitless, temporally limitless, not confined to the space-time matrix or the space-time limitations, which is the product of Prakriti, Maya, Shakti, three gunas, however you want to see it. But that which is free of all this is Sat Chit Ananda. In other words, this Sat Chit Ananda blesses the eyes to see, blesses the ear to hear, and itself is what? If you try to look for this blessing principle, the animating, illumining principle, you will be looking for it in vain. Why? Because that's one level of answer. It cannot be seen. Yes, correct, you are right. But we now at this point we have to expect a deeper answer from ourselves. Why cannot you? Why cannot it be understood? Because it is you. It cannot be seen because it is you. Because it is you. That animating principle is not coming from somewhere outside. That's why we had the whole section, Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi, Na idam yadidam upasate. I will give a summary. I will take one class to summarize the whole thing chapter wise, so it's very, very clear. But then in the next 3 classes we have to have a little bit of elbow room. So today we have 1 hour till 9 o'clock. Then today is what day? Third. So it's the 3rd, correct? 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. I have 4 days, and so if we can have a little more time, maybe I'll take from 8:15 to 9:30 the next 4 days, so that we can comfortably finish this beautiful Upanishad in the 3 classes, and then in the last class we can have a nice summary of the whole Upanishad, so that we can have, we can remember it, we can recall it. So that's what we will do. Do you want 8 to 9, 9:15 or 8:15 to 9:30? Unanimous. Breakfast is Asti Bhati Priyam. So, okay. So then this was the bulk of the discussion in the first 2 chapters. That the animating, illumining principles in the form of myself, which is Satchidananda, cannot be seen, cannot be heard, is not an object because it is myself. And therefore, whatever I objectify, it is not that it was given, but given in a very abstract way. For the fear of losing the students, the Upanishad, the teacher in the Upanishad, gives a story. Because otherwise what? Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya navedasaha. The one who knows doesn't know, the one who doesn't know knows. And then what else? Na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, na umanaha. Like the eye doesn't go there, the ear doesn't go there, the mind doesn't go there, all these things. And it's, one is just kind of spinning. And it's good to spin, because one has to be taken out of that complacency. One is being rocked by what? One is gently being rocked by the breeze of one's own beliefs and notions, which are finite. Rockabye baby on the treetop. But then what happens? When the wind blows, the cradle will fall. So therefore, here there is a certain sense of discombobulation, certain sense of unrest in the heart is not only natural, but is to be expected. And if there is a sense of confusion, it is only temporary. And that's why this story illumines everything. This story is actually a summary of chapter 1 and 2, where we have the eyes, the ears, the sense organs take the role in a drama. They come alive. And we saw that yesterday. Not only the sense organs come alive, but the animating principle also comes alive, the illumining principle in the form of Bhagavan, Satchidananda. Ishvara comes alive in the form of this Yaksha. Yajana Yogyatvat, the one who is fit to be worshipped, worshipful, attractive being. We also saw what happened when Agni went to find out who this Yaksha is. What does the Yaksha say? Kosi, who are you? Don't worry about trying to find out who I am. Find out who you are. This is very symbolic. Who you are is who I am. If you know who you are, you will know who I am. But Agni is not prepared for this. Still tries to objectify the Yaksha, cannot, and then na shakyam vijñātum, did not succeed in knowing who this Yaksha was and came back. Then the Devas said, Vayu, you go. That's where we stopped yesterday. Then let's see what happens. When Vayu goes, does he fare any better? Does he get to know who the Yaksha is? That will be a lot of fun to see. Oh, the text is right here. Okay. So then, Atha Vayum Abruvan Vayo Etad Vijanihi Kimetad Yakshamiti. Hey Vayo, vocative. Oh Vayu, you who? Vayu, come here. Go find out who this Yaksha is. Tatha iti. Tatha means, so be it. Tathastu, here I go. Tad abhyadravat, tam abhyavadat, kosi iti. Looks like we have the same thing from the Agni's interaction with Yaksha, copied and pasted over here. Copy-paste Upanishad has done. See, Upanishad was the first one who knew the cut and paste function. Yeah. Copy-paste, same thing. You look in the Agni section, the words are all same, except wherever Agni, what is there? Vayu is there. That's all. Tam abhyadravat. Vayu, nicely whistling wind, went and approached the Yaksha. Yaksha surprised him by saying, who are you? Like the Indian phone call. You phone and then ask, who is speaking? So, here Vayu went to find out who Yaksha is. Yaksha is saying, who are you? Yaksha actually is the person who should say who he is or who it is. But Yaksha says, who are you? Even though Yaksha has gate crashed into this party, it is incumbent upon the Yaksha in all areas of politeness to introduce himself. But what does Yaksha say? Who you? Who are you? Kosi, who are you? And Vayu is again flummoxed like Agni. Wow, what? He doesn't know wind? Is this creature even real? Let me poke it and see. What is this? Does it even breathe? Vayurvayahamasmi. I am Vayu. Vati iti Vayu. Vati means that which blows is the wind. Even that much you don't know. You don't know 5 elements. You don't even know grammar. Simple grammar. What kind of a creature are you? Vayu is thinking. And then he gives himself another title. Vayu has many titles. Matarishva aham. Matari shvayati iti matarishva. So, matar means space, not mother here. Okay? Shvayati goes around in space. What a nice definition of Vayu. Yeah. Matarishvayati iti Matarishva. I am Matarishva. Come on. I am Matarishva. There is, in other words, I am all pervasive. There is no place where I am not. Look for me anywhere. I am in your lungs as prana. I am everywhere. I am the wind. I am everything. Without me, the world cannot run. What do you mean, who am I? The yaksha doesn't give up. What does the yaksha ask next? Huh? Yeah. Tasmin tvai viryam kimasti. What are you famous for? I don't have time to Google you, and I don't care. You yourself tell me. What is it that you are famous for? What is it that you are well known for? First, what is your name? Who are you? Next, what do you do? What do you do to make yourself useful in the world? Tasmin tvai viryam kim. What is this that you are famous for? And what does Vayu say? Api idagum sarvam adadiya yadidam prithivyamiti. Api means if the occasion were to arise. Api here doesn't mean also. Api here is sambhavanarthe api, apyarthaha. Sambhavana means the possibility. If the occasion were to arise, what would I do? I would I would lift up everything, keep it spinning. Yeah. Adadiya yadidam prithivyam. So in this whole earth, everything I will lift up and keep it spinning. See, Vayu is associated with strength. Yeah, balam. So therefore it has a lot of force. Vayu is the presiding devata of strength here. Not to think of as the presiding devata of touch also, but strength, balam. And so here we take it as Balavan Vayuhu, and this Balavan, this one says, I can lift anything on this earth. No problem, I can lift it and keep it spinning. What does Yaksha say? Yeah, here is this dry straw. This dry straw, this blade of grass, lighter than a feather. Trinam nidadhau, puts the trinam, this dry blade of grass, in between them. That's why. Come on, lift it up. You say you can lift up anything on earth. Here is an easy test. I am not asking you to lift up 500 pounds like Olympic weightlifter. 250 pounds I am not saying. This should be easy for you. Vayu should have walked away, but Vayu is arrested in the Yaksha's gaze, cannot even break eye contact, let alone make decisions. In other words, confronted with this gorgeous Yaksha, this wonderful, compelling, charismatic Yaksha, the Ahankara is temporarily stunned into submission. And the Vayu says, this is child's play. I will let out a baby Vayu, little force. Nothing happens. Then what? Oh, maybe it's stuck on the bottom. So let me try to lift the table on which it is. Maybe then it will help. That also doesn't happen. Says, oh, I'm not going to be defeated by this miserable straw. He summons the tornado strength winds. Cyclone kind of winds. Hurricane strength winds. Actually, there should be a spelling correction in hurricane. It should be hurricane. Okay? Yeah. So that aside, hurricane strength winds he summons. You can imagine in how in the movies and comic books they show this gust of circular spiraling wind. In the United States, there are these people called storm catchers. And what do? Whenever there is a tornado, everybody is evacuating and leaving. These people go there. They chase that wind. They chase it to find out what is the strength, how many miles per hour, etc. They are called storm chasers. But here Vayu, with all its force, blows on this Trinam. Trinam is intact. It is kept perpendicular. It doesn't even change direction, let alone get lifted up. That was the fate of the straw, and that is the last straw for Vayu. What does he do? Shimmies away from there. After all, it's a party. You're supposed to circulate like a social butterfly. You should not be sitting in one place or standing in one place talking to the same people. You're supposed to circulate. That's how what they say in office parties. You're supposed to talk to many people who you don't talk to. You don't stand with one best friend and just stay there. That is considered not very polite. So Vayu knows when the time is up, and he also returns. And then what, sarvajavena tad upapreyaya. So then with every force he tries, tanna shashaka adatum na shashaka tat. Adatum means to lift it up. Na shashaka. Shashaka from shak, capacity in the lit. Lit means it happened a long time ago, remote past. So na shashaka adatum was incapable of lifting it up. Sa tataha eva. So therefore, what happened? From there, immediately, what happened? Nivavrite. Nivavrite, beat a retreat. Beat a retreat. And then what did he say? He came back to his group, his coterie of people where Indra, Agni were standing. And then he says, Na etad ashakam. Ashakam, simple past. I was not able to. Vijñatum, to know. I was not able to know. Know what? Yadetad yaksham iti. What is this yaksha? I was unable to know. Even as he said this, I'm sure Vayu and Agni exchanged glances. I think I know what happened to you. Vayu must be saying, all through the eyes. Agni also must be saying, yes, same thing happened to me also. But they decide not to say anything. And then the Devatas start to clap their hands. Indra, 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 you go, you go, you go. Indra, please go and find, you are our leader. And all these minions, like Vayu, Agni, were unable to find out who this Yaksha is. You go. You please go, find out who it is. And then, so, atha, now, the Indram Abruvan, they told Indra, Hey Maghavan, Maghavan is another name for Indra. Hey Maghavan, etad vijanihi, please find out. Kimetad yakshamiti, now we are dying of curiosity. Two people have failed in knowing who the yaksha is. So what happens to the curiosity? The curiosity factor increases. Now the jignasa has increased exponentially. Everybody wants to know. Now they all just appoint Indra, and then what does Indra say? Indra feels happy. He is the leader after all, and these two could not find out. Let me see what I can do. Tatha iti, tathastu. So be it. Here I go. Then what happens? You can't say the same thing happens because already 2 repetitions. If Indra also went and the blade of grass came, the Shrota, the listener, will lose the interest. So be aware of a plot twist. Twist in the plot. Tam abhyadravat goes towards Yaksha. This time Yaksha doesn't say Kosi. Tasmin kim tvai viryam. No. What does the Yaksha do? Tirodadhe, disappeared. At least Agni and Vayu could have interactions. When Indra went, gone. Indra goes towards Yaksha, Yaksha disappears. The Upanishad is a lady of few words. We have to fill in the blanks. That is why we have the parampara. Adi Shankara says here, to bridge the gap of whatever the Upanishad has left out, that by the disappearance of the Yaksha, which was a big slap in the face of Indra, Indra did not take it personally, and because he had already seen what happened with Agni and Vayu, he was terribly humbled. Adi Shankara says he was humbled. And in that same place where the Yaksha disappeared, he sat down to pray, to meditate. This Adi Shankara supplies, because the gurus which came before Adi Shankara taught in this way, and that is exactly what Adi Shankara also teaches us. That is why the sampradaya is very important. Otherwise we can just put our own interpretations. We can say Indra was actually less mature. We can logically think like this. At least the Yaksha gave the time of day to Agni and who was the other person? Vayu. But when Indra came, he disappeared. Indra is not as evolved spiritually, mentally, emotionally as Agni and Vayu. This could be a conclusion that we could draw, but this conclusion would be completely incorrect and not in keeping with the Shruti. Why? Because the word Indra itself in the Nirukta is a text of synonyms, and it's like the first thesaurus in the world. Book of synonyms, antonyms, and first thesaurus in the whole entire world, and that is what? Nirukta, written by sage Yaska, very old. So old that even the Upanishad refers to it. Upanishad quotes it in a couple of places. We find the reference to Nirukta in the Taittiriya, in the Mundaka Upanishad also. In the discussion of Aparavidya, we find the discussion of mention of Nirukta in the Chandogya Upanishad in the 7th chapter in the Narada Sanat Kumara dialogue. And one more place also it is there, probably in Taittiriya Upanishad also it comes in the first Valli. So, therefore, this is a very ancient text. And there, if we look at the definition of Indra, it gives many different definitions, and then one of the definition is Indriyanam Raja. And what are the Indriyas? The Vayu is the Adhisthana Devata of the Indriya of the touch. Agni is the Adhisthana Devata of the Indriya of speech and sight. So therefore, we have to see here, then what is happening here? Then we have the Vayu, and then we have Agni, but then here is the boss of Vayu and Agni. Indriyanam Raja iti Indraha. All symbolic, very beautiful. The one who is the king of all the sense organs. What is the king of all the sense organs? Who is the one that manages the sense organs? Buddhi. The Buddhi is what tells the sense organs that this is not what is going to be pursued. The sense organs are journalists. They are like the press. what do they say? Yeah, here is a wonderful sight to see. Here is a wonderful music to hear. Here are some freshly made samosas. They are just reporters. Then the mind wants to go towards the samosas, and then the buddhi says, no, 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 this is Sanskrit class, you have to concentrate on samasa. Samasa is word compounds, not samosa yet. Buddhi. The buddhi is the one which directs the indriyas to particular pursuits and then takes them away from certain pursuits. So we cannot say Indra is less emotionally mature than the Agni, Vayu, etc. That would be wrong. So the derivation, the vyutpatti of the word Indra as Indriyanam Raja gives us a cue to see that what Indra represents is not the sense organs but the buddhi. Naturally, when the buddhi goes close to Satchidananda, what will happen? It will disappear. Disappear in and as Indra himself. But Indra doesn't know that. And the buddhi is, Indra's buddhi is very sattvic. You don't become the king of all the devas without a sattvic buddhi, without so much sattva. Sattva guna pradhana is Indra, and so therefore he sits and prays in the same place where the yaksha disappears. Because he knows this is beyond my comprehension as an object. This was, and he is not a fool. He saw what happened to Vayu and Agni. He says, okay, this is beyond the senses, beyond the mind, beyond even the buddhi. What is this? What is this that's so attractive, yet it's so elusive? Attractive and elusive at the same time. What on earth is this? He prays for this knowledge to be given to him. He prays for a teacher. In other words, even though the Upanishad doesn't say that, but that's what he prays. He prays to be taught. And if you pray to be taught, what will happen? The prayer will come true. But then what happens here is that, so tasmin tasmat tirodadhe. So tasminneva akashe, in that same place where the yaksha disappeared, striyam ajagama, a woman appears. There's a lot of appearing things here in this Upanishad. A woman appears. Bahushobhamana. Bahushobhamana means resplendent, beautifully adorned. Adorned. Full of shining jewels. So, Bahushobhamana. And then, what else? Uma. Uma Haimavati. Uma here is the goddess. Goddess Uma. Ma is actually knowledge. So Uma is a version of this knowledge. Haimavati, two meanings. We can take the literal meaning. What is the literal meaning? The daughter of Himavan. So the daughter of Himavan, the daughter of the mountain, we can say Parvati. Parvatasya apatya stri. Parvati. We can take the literal meaning, or we can say the Haimavati means the resplendent one. Here, the derivation would not be from Hima, the snow-clad mountains, it would be Hema. Hema, which is gold, which is then the Adivriddhi takes place, Haimavati. So you can, two meanings of Haimavati. I prefer the second meaning because we are not interested in her antecedents. We are not, if the teacher appears, we are not interested in who the mother and the father of the teacher was. We are interested in the knowledge. Adi Shankara also, that's why he gives both the meanings. He says, the one who is the shining in person, the resplendent, shining entity in the form of this beautiful woman adorned comes. And what is this resplendent entity? It is none other than oneself, which Indra is yet to see, yet to know. And this, the teacher embodies that, the student is in the process of knowing that. And what is she adorned with? What are her golden jewels? Brahma Vidya. She, in other words, she is the teacher who is the embodiment of Brahma Vidya. It is almost as though we can't even say she is carrying the Shruti. She is the Shruti. She is the teacher who is no longer ignorant of her own self. She is in the form of the Shruti, Brahmavit, Brahmaiva Bhavati. We will see in the Mundakopanishad. Another ending Mahavakya, the knower of Brahman doesn't become Brahman, is Brahman. Very beautiful. And so the teacher appears. Why? Because without teacher we cannot know this. We know this already. Without Guru Parampara, we cannot know this, and this has been taught in the Mundakopanishad. Gurumeva abhigachet. You have to approach the teacher. Savijñā tad vijñānārtham saha brahmanaha nirvedamayat, etc., etc. Vijñānārtham gurumeva abhigachet. Must approach the teacher. Must ask for the teaching. Must ask for the teacher. Must choose this knowledge. Everywhere it is said. In the Kathopanishad also we see this. We see this, and even in this Upanishad, the teacher says what? We can only teach what was. We don't know how to teach this. How to teach this, we don't know the methodology. We rely on the methodology of all the teachers before us. Na vidmo na vijanimaha yatha etad anushishyat. Why? Anyadeva tad viditat atho avititat adhi. It is other than the known, it's other than the unknown. We don't know how to even teach this. We only rely on our teachers. And so the crucialness of having a teacher, and without the teacher this knowledge is not understood, is reiterated. So then the teacher in the form of this beautiful person teaches, and this is actually a this is actually a cliffhanger, because before she teaches, tam hovacha, Indra says to her, what does he say? Kimetad yakshamiti tam hovacha. He addresses her and says, please put me out of my suspense. Who was this yaksha? Chapter change. This is how all the TV serials learnt cliffhanger. Leave it on the suspense, and then the student will come back the next day for the last chapter of this beautiful, beautiful Upanishad. And then we enter the next chapter, and then it is a continuation, so really no segue is needed, because there is not only is there no topic change, but it is a continuation. Sa brahmeti hovacha. She said, what you missed objectifying, thank God, because if you knew it as an object, you will never know it as the subject. What you missed, what disappeared when you came towards it, was Brahman. Sa Brahma iti hovacha. That yaksha was Brahman. Brahmano va etad vijaye mahiyadhvam iti. And why did this Brahman appear? To teach you. To teach you what? Etad vijaye, in the matter of this victory, which we have forgotten, but she hasn't forgotten. What is the victory here? Between the Devas and Asuras. And who was victorious? Devas were victorious and they claimed the agency for this victory. Lot of chest patting, shoulder patting and chest beating took place. Asmakameva vijayaha, asmakameva mahima. This glory belongs to who? Us. This victory belongs to us. This way they were just completely up and down, jumping in pride and in joy. And then the teacher of Brahma Vidya, Uma Haimavati Uma, what does she say? Sa Brahma iti. That was Brahman who should have been acknowledged as the cause of your victory. That Ishvara, that Brahman, that consciousness behind, which is behind again we have to put quotes like this. You get tired of air quotes, That which is behind everything. Not only behind the eyes and the ears, but behind your strength. That's why Vayu is in the picture. Behind your strength, which effectively gave you this victory. That victory does not belong to you, she said. Who does it belong to? Ishvara, Brahman. And then, so, tataha, ha, indeed, ha, tataha, after she said that, ha eva vidanchakara means, again, chakara, again lit. Long time ago he knew. What did he know? So, tataha ha eva vidanchakara brahma iti. It was from her words only, eva, ha eva, only through her words means what? The teaching we cannot bypass. If he had just got the knowledge after sitting there and praying and meditating, then what would we have concluded? There are many paths. There are many paths to gaining this Brahman, we would have concluded. I can get Brahman through meditation. Why? Indra got. I can almost get Brahman by going close, like Agni and Vayu, little partial knowledge they got. Samanyataha. So, generally they knew who the Yaksha was, but then they could not really understand Visheshena. That's why just the meditation or just him standing in that place where the Yaksha disappears and closing his eyes does not bring forth the knowledge. A being in the form of the teacher from whom you ask the knowledge, because he asks, he is the one first to speak. She doesn't volunteer. Tam hovacha kim etad yaksham iti. He asked first. What did he say? Who is this Yaksha? Please teach me. And then she responds, and then the centrality of the teacher for this teaching is very, very important to understand. And then he says, and then the Upanishad says, tataha, after that alone, Vidanchakara came to know. With plus kru plus lit. Vidanchakara. After that only, he came to know. Only. Tataha ha eva. That evakara is important. It's the same eva that is there in the Mundakopanishad. Gurumeva abhigachet. Tataha eva vidanchakara. From her alone, no other source, he came to know this is Brahman iti. Tasmad vai ete devaha atitarama iva. So, before we go here, let us just, this is the Jnana Phalam. This is from verse number, whatever it is, verse number 3 or 27, I don't know where 27 comes. Verse number 2, it is, verse number 3, it is Jnana Phalam in this chapter. But before that, we have to look at the story and unpack it a little more. So when Brahman is in the form of the Yaksha. So we can say Yaksha is Ishvara, manifest. Two meanings we can see about the manifestation of the Yaksha. First we'll look at Yaksha. So Yaksha is Ishvara manifested for the sake of prayer upasana. So when we see when we can put Ishvara on the altar, then what happens? A desired form, a desirable form, a relatable form of Ishvara is put on the altar, then flowers are put and incense is waved and camphor lamp is rotated around the form. Then what are we doing? We are recognizing the one component. Only one component we are recognizing. What are we recognizing? We are recognizing Tatastha Lakshana of Brahman. Tatastha Lakshana means a component, a definition that comes and goes. It is not always the same. What is that? In relation to the Jagat, the Brahman gets an epithet, a title. What is the title? Karta, Dharta, Samharta. The creator, the sustainer, and the resolver. In one more epithet, Jagat Karanam, the cause of the universe. So when we worship that which is on the altar, we are only worshipping that component. And that's why it is called Sagunam Brahma. This Brahman, which is all as though invested or having certain attributes. Gunaihi saha vartate sagunam. So we are worshipping what? We are worshipping the attributes. Attributes are our tribute to this Ishvara, because without attributes, how can you worship? You can't worship Satchidananda. You absolutely cannot worship Satchidananda. So therefore, this is very interesting. This comes a little later, but it's good to discuss it now itself. So therefore, in every 108 names called Ashtottara Namavali, or in every Sahasranama, 1008 names, there are three kinds of names. The names can be generally divided into three categories. First is Swarupa Lakshana. Even though the whatever avatara we worship, whatever form and name we worship, we also acknowledge the Swarupa Lakshana. Satchidanandaya Namaha, Sadrupaya Namaha. And even in the Lalita Sahasranama, you will find such names in the Namavali which refer to Satchidananda. The one who is manifest in the form of Satchidananda, unto that Namaha. To the manifest form of Satyam Jnanam Anantam, this Brahman, Namaha. Then we will have the second list of names which have to do with Tatastha Lakshana. Jagat Kartre Namaha, Jagat Dhatre Namaha, Jagat Samharakarine Namaha. And the second set of names have to do with acknowledging that which is the dividing factor between Jiva and Ishvara. And what is that? That is the difference between the creator and this body which is created. Between the infinite power and the finite limited power that I think I am. And so that alienation is bridged. We'll see how it is bridged later. The Upanishad herself will tell us. But this is just by way of introducing the next section. The second set of names have to do with the function and the form of Ishvara with regard to Karanatvam. The Karanatvam, the causality, is superimposed upon this Brahman. And when the causality is superimposed, what is it called? Bhagavan, Ishvara. And so that I worship. I worship this same Satchidananda in a new outfit called Ishvara. Along with Maya Shakti, this is what is the next set of names in any Namavali worth repeating. All these ancient Namavalis we can see, this is there. Then the third set of names have to do with glorifying, adoring that particular form. Oh, you six-faced one, Shanmukha. And then you pleasant-faced one, Om Sumukhaya Namaha. You pleasant-faced one, Ganapati, Sumukha. Because we have never met a face of Ganesha we don't like. Yeah, always Ganesha looks smiling and pleasant. So this is the third set of names. Very important all this is. Third set of names which have to do with the specificity of invoking that particular form. You 18-armed goddess. Where did we hear that? In the Dhyana Shloka for Bhagavad Gita. Ashtadashadhyayini. I worship you as an 18 hand goddess. Each chapter is one hand. One arm of yours is one chapter. So the deification of a particular form and a particular name with its gatha, with its history, with the mythology. We can say, like for example, Ganesha is Shiva's son, Shanmukha's brother, Parvati's child, like this. Krishna is Yashoda and Devaki's child, like this. That is for what? Upasana's sake. To connect. The history removes the mystery so that I can connect to this particular form. That's the third set of names. So the Yaksha here symbolizes what? Satchidanandam Brahma. For the sake of Upasana, you can say, oh, he was very resplendent. He was very charismatic. So, and then what? Then you can see how Agni, speech goes near Brahman, cannot know who it is fully. Can only see that component. What is that component? That variable component, Tatastha Lakshana, creator, resolver, destroyer, cause of the universe, however you want to put it. And then it can also see, Agni can also see and interact with the specificities of this avatara. What is the specificities of this avatara? Oh, it looks resplendent. And keeps asking, who are you, who are you? So the specificities are there for objectification, and Jagat Karanam Brahman is available for objectification, so to speak. Specifically, I do not know who the Yaksha is, because the invariable Brahman, which is what? The invariable side of Brahman, we can say. The invariable Brahman means Satchidananda is missed, totally missed. Because when you focus on these two, which we also discussed in the Sahasranama, when you focus on the form, the specific form that you can relate to, and when you focus on Tatastha Lakshana, Bhagavan as the cause of the universe, then you miss Satchidananda. This is what happens to poor Agni and poor Vayu. They just miss the Yaksha in totality. They only know a certain portion of the Yaksha as it pertains to how it interacts or how it manifested itself. And so if the Yaksha is Brahmatma, myself, then we can see in this symbology, in this symbolism, what can we see? That this Yaksha is myself alone. That I have missed. I have missed the presence of the Yaksha as non-separate from my own presence. So Yaksha is like Atma. How is the Yaksha like Atma? Yaksha, what does the Yaksha do? The Yaksha is very much there and the Yaksha is present. I know I am. One component of the invariable Atma I know. Are you here? Yes. Even though it's a tepid answer, it's still a yes, lukewarm answer. I am here. Yes, I am here very much. Are you here? Yes, I am here. I am very much here. Okay. Then don't ask the next question. Kosi, Who are you? Don't ask, because that is where the confusion is. I know I am. I can see Yaksha. Yaksha represents the Samanya Jnanam of Atma. I know I am. Self-effulgent I, Yaksha represents. It is there for everybody to see. But go near and ask, who are you? Then you come up with a blank. Or you come up with a litany of complaints. I am an idiot and everybody is terrible and I don't like the people and they also don't like me. All these complaints will come. So therefore, we have to see this very, very properly. So samanyataha, understood, visheshataha, not understood. This is the personage of the Yaksha. And then Indra, Agni represents speech here. That which cannot be got through speech. Beautifully, the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Yato vacho nivartante apraapya manasa saha. That which where the mind and the speech beat a retreat, having not gained, aprapya, not having gained this Brahman. Why? Because they are looking to objectify. The mind is a great objectifier, speech is also even greater objectifier. And so everything is lost because this is not subject to objectification, it is me. And so the mind and the speech beat a retreat. Agni has to come back. Agni has to come back. And then Vayu, Balam, my strength also here, brute strength, is of no use. The strength can give me ahankara, the strength can give me all kinds of accolades. I can work out, I can go to the gym, I can do yoga, I can do all these things, but it's not going to help me find out that this Brahman is myself alone. And when Indra goes, it's the buddhi trying to catch Brahman. And that same buddhi, when it is surrendered to Bhagavan, when it is surrendered to understanding the truth of itself, it prays for help. It's an intelligent sign to pray for help. To ask for help is a sign of intelligence, not weakness. And here Indra is the most intelligent of them all. And he comes to know the truth of the Yaksha by asking for help in the form of the teacher. This female teacher who is an embodiment of Brahma Vidya, adorned with Brahma Vidya. And she is non-separate from Brahma Vidya. She comes and teaches, and therefore he says, I know. And then what happens to all three of them, and what other concluding teachings the Upanishad may have for us, we'll see starting tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Bhagavad Gita in